Random House Audio presents The Keepsake by Tess Gerritsen. Read for you by Carolyn McCormick with Alyssa Bresnahan.
He is coming for me. I feel it in my bones. I sniff it in the air, as recognizable as the scent of hot sand and savory spices, and the sweat of 100 men toiling in the sun. These are the smells of Egypt's western desert, and they are still vivid to me, although that country is nearly half a globe away from the dark bedroom where I now lie. 15 years have passed since I walked that desert, but when I close my eyes, in an instant, I am there again, standing at the edge of the tent camp, looking toward the Libyan border and the sunset. The wind moaned like a woman when it swept down the wadi. I still hear the thuds of pickaxes and the scrape of shovels, can picture the army of Egyptian diggers, busy as ants as they swarm the excavation site, hauling their baskets filled with soil. It seemed to me then, when I stood in that desert 15 years ago, as if I were an actress in a film about someone else's adventure, not mine. Certainly, it was not an adventure that a quiet girl from Indio, California, ever expected to live. The lights of a passing car glimmer through my closed eyelids. When I open my eyes, Egypt vanishes. No longer am I standing in the desert, gazing at a sky smeared by sunset, the color of bruises. Instead, I am once again half a world away, lying in my dark San Diego bedroom. I climb out of bed and walk barefoot to the window to look out at the street. It is a tired neighborhood of stucco tract homes built in the 1950s, before the American dream meant mini mansions and 3-car garages. There is honesty in the modest but sturdy houses, built not to impress but to shelter, and I feel safely anonymous here. Peeking through the curtains at the street, I see a dark-colored sedan slow down half a block away. It pulls over to the curb, and the headlights turn off. I watch, waiting for the driver to step out, but no one does. For a long time, the driver sits there. Perhaps he's listening to the radio, or maybe he's had a fight with his wife and is afraid to face her. Perhaps there are lovers in that car with nowhere else to go. I can formulate so many explanations, none of them alarming. Yet my skin is prickling with hot dread. A moment later, the sedan's taillights come back on, and the car pulls away and continues down the street. Even after it vanishes around the corner, I'm still jittery, clutching the curtains in my damp hand. I return to bed and lie sweating on top of the covers, but I cannot sleep. Although it's a warm night, I keep my bedroom window latched and insist that my daughter keep hers latched as well. But Tari does not always listen to me. I close my eyes, and as always, the visions of Egypt come back. It's always to Egypt that my thoughts return. Even before I stood on its soil, I dreamed about it. At 6 years old, I spotted a photograph of the Valley of the Kings on the cover of National Geographic, feeling instant recognition, as though I were looking at a familiar, much-beloved face that I had almost forgotten. That was what the land meant to me, a beloved face I longed to see again. And as the years progressed, I laid the foundations for my return. I worked and studied. A full scholarship brought me to Stanford, and to the attention of a professor who recommended me for a summer job at an excavation in Egypt's western desert. In June, at the end of my junior year, I boarded a flight to Cairo. Even now, in the darkness of my California bedroom, I remember how my eyes ached from the sunlight glaring on white-hot sand. I feel the sting of the wind peppering my face with desert grit. These memories make me happy. With a trowel in my hand and the sun on my shoulders, this was the culmination of a young girl's dreams. How quickly dreams become nightmares. I'd boarded the plane to Cairo as a happy college student. 3 months later, I returned home a changed woman. I did not come back from the desert alone. A monster followed me. In the dark, my eyelids spring open. Was that a footfall? A door creaking open? I lie on damp sheets, heart battering itself against my chest. I am afraid to get out of bed, and afraid not to. Something is not right in this house. After years of hiding, I know better than to ignore the warning whispers in my head. Those urgent whispers are the only reason I am still alive. I pull open the nightstand drawer and take out the gun. It is not legally registered, and it makes me nervous, keeping a firearm under the same roof with my 14-year-old daughter. But I know how to use it. My bare feet are silent as I step out of my room and move down the hall, past my daughter's closed door. I conduct the same inspection that I have made 1,000 times before, always in the dark. In the kitchen, I check the windows and the door. In the living room, I do the same. Everything is secure. I come back up the hall and pause outside my daughter's bedroom. The door gives a loud squeak as I open it, but it won't wake her. As with most teenagers, her sleep is akin to a coma. The first thing I notice is the breeze, and I give a sigh. Once again, Tari has ignored my wishes and left her window wide open, as she has so many times before. I step inside and pause beside the bed, watching her sleep, listening to the steady rhythm of her breathing. I remember the first time I laid eyes on her, red-faced and crying in the obstetrician's hands. That was the moment I knew what her name would be. I thought of the words carved in the great temple at Abu Simbel, words chosen by Ramses the Great to proclaim his love for his wife. Nefertari, for whom the sun doth shine. My daughter is the one and only treasure that I brought back with me from Egypt, and I am terrified of losing her. Tari is so much like me. It's as if I'm watching myself sleeping. When she was 10 years old, she could already read hieroglyphs. At 12, she could recite all the dynasties down to the Ptolemies. She is a clone of me in every way, untainted by the evil that fathered her. But she is also a normal 14-year-old girl, and this has been a source of frustration these past weeks as I've felt darkness closing in around us. My daughter is oblivious to the danger because I have hidden the truth from her. She likes San Diego, and she looks forward to her first year in high school. Were it not for her resistance, we would have left town weeks ago. A breeze blows in the window, chilling the sweat on my skin. I set the gun down on the nightstand and cross to the window to close it. For a moment I linger, breathing in cool air. Outside, the night has fallen silent, except for a mosquito's whine. A prick stings my cheek. The significance of that mosquito bite does not strike me until I reach up to slide the window shut. I feel the icy breath of panic rush up my spine. There is no screen over the window. Where is the screen? Only then do I sense the malevolent presence. While I stood watching my daughter, it was watching me. It has always been watching, biding its time, waiting for its chance to spring. Now it has found us. I turn and face the evil.
Dr. Maura Isles lingered in the shadows of the Pilgrim Hospital parking lot, well beyond the glare of the Klieg lights, beyond the circle of TV cameras. She had no wish to be spotted, and most local reporters would recognize the striking woman whose pale face and bluntly cut black hair had earned her the nickname Queen of the Dead. As yet no one had noticed Maura's arrival, and not a single camera was turned in her direction. Instead, the dozen reporters were fully focused on a white van that had just pulled up at the hospital's lobby entrance to unload its famous passenger. The van's rear doors swung open, and a lightning storm of camera flashes lit up the night as the celebrity patient was gently lifted out.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?